Hello, everyone, and a very, very warm welcome to a very interesting panel discussion that we have coming up today. I have with me three brilliant women authors from a larger community called SheMantra. All of us belong to SheMantra, and it's my privilege to have these three women who have written such interesting, insightful, and inspiring books. And we're talking about the theme called the Unlocking Your Potential Journey of Self Exploration, Self Mastery, and Transformation. And we were just talking before we started our discussion that how all of them have written about the same topic, but they have approached it in such a different manner. It's really intriguing. And so I invite you all to stay with us, to listen to our conversations as we unravel their journey, as we listen to their stories, and we also hear a little bit about the most interesting part of the book that they feel they want to share with all of us. So before we actually get into the discussion, let me just take a few minutes to introduce our panel, and then we'll get started. So, okay, before I go to the panel, let me talk about myself and why am I doing this. So my name is Deepa Chandrasekaran. I am an author as well. I have a book titled Career Accelerator Formula, and it's a book that helps corporate leaders move forward in their careers, build a fulfilling journey, build a career that they absolutely love in a very step-by-step manner. Earlier to this, I have been working in the corporates for close to 2 decades, and that has shaped me. And in 2017 was when I decided no longer being in the corporate, I want to do something more and create a larger impact. So I left corporate, became an entrepreneur, became an author, and here I am hosting my panel discussion with these three awesome ladies. So with that, let me move forward and introduce my first panel, Akanksha Kulkarni. She is the author of the book, The Untold Legend, Rise of a Mother. Akanksha is a Chopra meditation and health teacher, well-being coach, best-selling author, positive intelligence coach, keynote speaker, and an ex-IBMer. Akanksha helps individuals and organizations align purpose, rewire mind, raise vibration, enrich well-being to live a life of abundance and freedom. She has founded Arnav Memorial Foundation in memory of her son, with a mission to enrich health and well-being and expand consciousness through holistic education and science research interventions. She has 25 plus years of experience, which includes 20 plus years in the corporate world. She's done MBA from one of the top B schools in India. She's currently pursuing PhD in education psychology. Her book, The Untold Legend, Rise of a Mother, has become an Amazon #1 bestseller in special education and ranked as a bestseller in well-being, education, biology, and journals. Wow, what a book it is. And it's a privilege to be talking to you, Akanksha, and hearing more about your journey, because personally, I know Akanksha and I know what a journey she's had. So looking forward to hearing more from you.
Thank you.
And I asked all of my panel to also share a personal anecdote. So here's what Akanksha shared, and this is very interesting. So Akanksha had traveled to the UK for business meetings when she was 6 months pregnant. On the weekend, she traveled around the city and went on the London Eye and had a fantastic time. Later, when her kid was 3 years old and they were watching TV, and London Eye came in one of the episodes that they were watching, she told him, "Here, see, you were in my tummy when I went there." He looked at her and he said, "But mom, why did you eat me?" So that's a lovely, fun aspect of what happened between Akanksha and Arnav. So welcome, Akanksha. We're looking forward to hearing from you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Deepa.
All right. So moving on to the next panel, Manisha Singh. She is the author of the book, The 10th Story. Her introduction goes, committed to supporting fellow travelers on the journey of pursuing their potential, Manisha considers it her mission to make the experience fun and inspiring. Coaching has been her passion since she was first introduced to the methodology 15 years ago. She also enjoys writing about the workings of the mind and expressions thereof. She believes in the power of personal narratives and their role in growth and transformation. Through her writing, she aspires to encourage the readers to actively engage with their life stories, draw interesting insights, and see new possibilities related to the future that lies ahead of them. her anecdote. So, how did she come up with the title of the book? And that's a fantastic thing to share with all of you. So, the publisher had given her a deadline to send the name of the book. She was unable to decide, and so she requested them to give her some more time. They asked her to give them a placeholder until she finalized the title of the book. Since she was running out of time and she had the 10th chapter of the book open, she gave them the name The 10th Story. They liked it so much that they refused to change it, and that became the final name of the book. What a story, Manisha, and how we come to what becomes a legend and a legacy, right? How do we arrive at those moments is such a brilliant share. So, thank you so much for sharing, and a very, very warm welcome to our panel today. Now, last but not the least, we have Shraddha. So, Shraddha Subramaniam, Circle of Perspectives. This is the book that she has authored. Shraddha is an award-winning business and executive coach, India's first intuition expert, creator of Jackpot Method for Businesses, and founder and CEO of Sparkling Soul. Healing through cancer, she transitioned from employee to entrepreneur as her purpose evolved to impact this world by enabling organizations and businesses live their potential. Being a national level hurdle racer, she loves speed and makes her coaching very innovative and disruptive. She believes everything you desire is available now. And with her intuitions, she can identify deep rooted subconscious blocks in just 3 minutes of time. So it's all about speed, huh, Shraddha? Fantastic. So here's what her anecdote was. Her book was first named as Being Leader, as her intention was to write about leadership in all walks of life, showcasing different perspectives. She changed the title to Circle of Perspectives. But because of her love for leadership, the book has one chapter dedicated solely towards leadership. So fantastic, Shraddha, a warm welcome. And we are so happy to have all three ladies here. And I'm really looking forward to a fantastic, inspiring, insightful, and intriguing conversation.
Thank you, Deepa.
All right. So let's start with Akanksha. Akanksha, tell us more about your book and tell us how can it help readers on a journey of self-exploration and self-mastery. So do share.
Sure. So, this book, The Untold Legend, Rise of a Mother, is actually, when you say legend, it's actually a story, right? But so this is a story in some form of my son and me. And my 17-year-old son crossed over in 2020. His name is Arnav. So, this story is about me and my son, from giving birth to him to dealing with the grief after he crossed over. So, this is about mother child relationship. And even though this is a story in some form, this is also about letting go of all the stories, all the mental constructs, old paradigms, generational patterns that don't serve us, and the pain and the trauma that comes from all the experiences in life and that keeps us stuck in the past, and how we can move forward with the connection of our higher self, of our being, to become that higher self. And this book explores mother child relationship scientifically and spiritually. It also explores the relation with mother earth, and the creation of new earth. Like, you might be knowing that we are in ascension right now, so raising vibration and creating the new earth, and how we can have a deeper connection with mother earth, with the source, the divine, the higher source, and our spirit guides, angels. So this is a book about that deeper connection. At the core of our being, we all are infinite beings, and we all have infinite potential. Only thing that what happens is, since our childhood, there are so many experiences and conditioning of the mind, the conditioning of the society, the parents, everything, the generations that we have. Because of that, we take up some limiting beliefs. We have certain generational patterns which are there from our DNA, and there are certain patterns from our society that we take up from the environment, and because of which we limit our potential. But when we realize that at the core of our being, we are infinite beings, and when we access that, when we connect with the core of our being, when we connect with our higher self, we realize the multidimensional nature and the infinite potential that we have. We can connect with our higher self, access that potential, and then educate ourselves in terms of connecting and with the source, and taking care of our health, well-being, and reaching our potential. And especially in the advent of AI, the current education is like absolutely going to be obsolete, I would say. So definitely we need to have newer education to become the best version of ourselves. So I have talked about all of it in the book.
Fantastic. I think in one book, you have encapsulated so many important aspects of what makes us and then what takes us to our potential. So, thank you so much for that. And let me now move to Manisha. So, Manisha, tell us about your book, The 10th Story, and what inspired you to get on this journey, and what would readers benefit out of reading this book?
Sure, sure. Thanks, Deepa, for the wonderful question that kind of summarizes the entire journey of the book. So, the book is a compilation of stories of women who've navigated challenges in a way that the challenge facilitated their growth. So, what stood out for me in their journey was that often we get very overwhelmed by the challenge, and so did they. But I think after the overwhelm, they chose to create something out of that challenge or adversity. And I was curious to know that what what makes some people approach adversity differently. And if we were to learn something from them, what would it be? So that's what the book is all about. Um, so I wanted the book to be different in terms of uh, not being a passive journey for the reader. So many times we read the book and then we are on a journey with someone, but after we finish the book, we forget some parts. And I was thinking, how can I, make it a journey where the reader is constantly, feeling that, yeah, this is my journey too. And so I created pauses in between, short pauses where the reader could reflect on their own journey after each story. And so that by the end of the book, they have a framework for their own journey and they're able to appreciate their own journey, internalize the learnings that have come from, their journey, really honor all the challenges that they have faced themselves and look at it in a different light, and also look forward. Look forward and leverage all those learnings to really create the future with intentionality.
Yeah.
So, what the reader can gain from reading it is a newfound understanding of their own past in a way that is empowering, and also create a roadmap for themselves, craft their own story here onwards.
Yeah, fantastic. I think I'm reading your book, and after every story that I read, there is space to document and reflect on what we have gone through as we were reading the story. And frankly, when I was reading your the first story, I could actually think of so many my personal childhood experiences and relate to how they have shaped me to become who I am right now. So I love your approach to creating those spaces, those pauses, which make us reflect and write down. There's space to write down, and beautiful space to also draw if you want something. So thank you for sharing that with all of us. So what took you on this journey? Like, what was the reason that you embarked on this journey of writing the book? If you could share that also with us.
Sure. So, but the journey began quite some time back when I decided to become an individual consultant and a coach. Before that, even I had my corporate journey, and there, if one wanted to coach, people had to listen because they were either your direct reports or, people who were either indirectly or directly a part of your team. And this was different. So I wanted to do two things. One is get comfortable with talking to strangers, And the second thing is kind of create a presence such that people who don't know me also get comfortable talking to me. And so I decided to create a project called 100 Conversations, which was an invitation for women to book time with me and have a conversation about self-care. So when that project started, I was really touched that people were willing to give me their time and I wanted to give them something back. So I started creating very small write-ups of their stories and putting it on whichever platform they were on so that others could cheer for them. And something remarkable started happening after that. People really felt connected to those write-ups, although they were very simple. And somewhere it was encouraging them. So people would message me that, why don't you compile this into a book? But since I had not started with that intention, all those write-ups were very different. Like some were very long, some were very short. They didn't have the same voice. And so I couldn't compile them, but it triggered in me an idea that why not I create a separate project where I choose a theme which can sort of encourage anybody who's reading, which resonates with anybody and everybody. And that's how I came up with this idea. And I thought that why not I make them a part? Probably they're liking it because they want to discover their story. Why not I facilitate that? So that's how this whole idea came about.
Fantastic. And that brings me to our third panelist, Shraddha. Her book, Circle of Perspectives, is again talking about maximizing our potential, but in terms of looking at perspective. So, Shraddha, tell us about your book, tell us about your journey, and what can readers learn from your book?
So I'll start with the last question. What can readers learn from the book? I have intentionally kept it an easy read, like, just wanted it to be like it is not only my journey, my story. I just wanted it to be theirs as well. And I wanted to portray that I am one of you. It's not that I am at a different level than you. And you can also reach there. And that's why, just by shifting perspectives, you can actually make that shift, which I could make in my life. So, and we always say you can't have it all, but I have always believed that you can have it all. And then from that space, I wanted it to be like holistic aspect, not so leadership is one of my favorite topics. I have lived in the corporate world for 15 long years, and leadership has been one of my favorite things to do. Just that, I love people more than systems and code. That's why, I moved from the corporate career to be a coach. And that's what I love about. But I just wanted to put it forward that leadership is not only restricted to your corporate world. It is present in every moment, every day, in every area of your life. So for the readers, I wanted to make it very easy for attempting. Number two, I wanted them to not only read it, like Manisha said, not as a passive reading. So I included workbooks in that. So every chapter at the start of it has what do you feel now about a certain area of your life, writing down all of that. And then I give my perspective about it, helping them to see the different side of it, bringing into the light of things that possibly they may not have thought about or really seen it from that angle, giving it to them, and then asking them to craft their journey here on. Every chapter also has a commitment statement, which I call it. So for that area, what is their commitment statement and how they're going to actually take it forward, and then creating their own plan. So there is a space to create a plan. The whole structure is given. How do you create a plan? So I wanted them to take this journey, like, in any conversation that I do, even if it is a speaker or keynote, session, I still ask people to write. That's me, because I want them to write, to take that shift the moment they start with me, and by the time they finish, there must be a shift that has occurred. And that's what I believe in. There's a chapter on leadership, as I mentioned. And then I have divided life into 5 parts, which is yourself, your relationships, the money, the occupation. It could be business, your career, if you're switching, because while I was writing, I was in the switch mode. from corporate to entrepreneurship. So the switching is also covered. And lastly, the community. So you can define what level you want to have the fulfillment from 1 to 10 or possibly whatever A to Z, but that is where it is, and they can go about it like that. The book came into place, I think, in 2013, while on one of my trips to London, I used to carry books and journals to write while I was on my business trips. And the only thought that I had written was, I want to share whatever I have learned in my life in the corporate with people. That was the only thing I had written down. In what form, how it will shape up, there was nothing like on there. So I think the book was a true manifestation. Being an author came a bit late, but then it was like one of the ways to manifest what exactly I felt when I wrote, I want to share. So this is how the book came into existence. And this was the first thing that happened as soon as I left my corporate job. So I was already writing while I was in the transition. And it's been 5 years now. This book is published, and I'm so happy that it's out there with people and it's impacting.
Fantastic, fantastic. What a journey. I think one thing that I would like to reiterate for our listeners is also about writing. Writing is therapeutic and it's very intentional. And I have learned that writing actually, impacts, or you use a different part of your brain when you're writing. And it gives you a lot of clarifications, and a lot of intentions get set as we are writing down our ideas. So that brings me to the next question. Since we're talking about unlocking our potential, a journey of self exploration, self transformation, so Akanksha, can you tell us the difference between self exploration and self mastery? Because we use these terms interchangeably, but they mean very different.
Self exploration is the journey of finding out who you are, why you think the way you think, why you behave the way you behave. And whereas self mastery is once you are aware about yourself, then taking the next steps. So, more like a self discipline, like setting goals and then going about achieving those goals. So, for example, in my book itself is a journey of self exploration. So even in my book I have included journal prompts, I've included meditation and visualization scripts, so that they can go through this journey of self exploration, find out really who they are. Because when you live your life in alignment with who you are, you can express your truth. And when you are in alignment with your dharma or life purpose, what how you want to express this, then you can take the next steps onto the self mastery. So your self exploration, I would say, is the first step before self mastery. One is self exploration is like an ongoing and lifelong kind of process, because there is no end point to understanding yourself, right? As you go on uncovering your self, then you realize more and more. Whereas self mastery is very goal oriented, so specific objectives, and then you work towards achieving them. Then self exploration involves more like journaling, meditation, self reflection, introspection. Whereas self mastery will include more like setting goals, acquiring new skills, practicing self discipline, and developing positive habits. So that is that there. Then, in terms of outcome, self exploration has primarily better understanding of your motivations, self awareness. That is the outcome. You will realize what are your strengths, what are your motivations, what are your core values. That is very important. And a deeper connection with yourself, higher self, your being. Whereas self mastery is the ability to control and excel in various areas of your life. So it can be career, relationships, personal development. So I'll give you an example. For example, if you're in a job, okay, and you don't like that job, or for some reason you have taken up that job because of the society pressures, or because of the parents pressures, or whatever, or you got educated in a certain way, or you have certain money goals and you took up that job but you are not happy. Then self-exploration is the journey where you actually find out what is your calling, and then take up your career in alignment with that. Once you understand that, okay, this is your calling, this is what you truly who you are and how you would like to serve in this world, that is the journey of self-exploration. Then the self mastery part comes into place. Then you whatever, like, you realize that, okay, you need to enhance some skills or develop some skills. Then you will work towards that, and you realize that, okay, you are procrastinating, or you are not you are overwhelmed. Then you will increase your personal productivity, and you'll do time management. So these are the things that you will do for self mastery as such. So both are required, I would say, self exploration and self mastery. But essentially, self exploration is a continuous, ongoing process, whereas self mastery is very, very targeted, goal oriented process.
All right. So thank you so much. I think that clarifies a lot of questions that our listeners might be having around what does self-exploration really mean and what does self-mastery mean. So from what I understand, self-exploration is a prerequisite to self-mastery. We have to explore and connect with ourselves before we embark on any kind of journey, whether it is corporate, whether it is as an entrepreneur, whether we're just, living a normal, casual life. So for anything to exceed, we need to connect with ourselves. So thank you so much for giving us that clarity, Akanksha. So Manisha, tell us a little bit about, since we're talking about self-exploration and self-mastery, how did your journey of self-exploration start? Like, what do you remember where you were, moved to ask questions, understand your perspective of life, and then, leading to writing this book or even having those 100 conversations? So where did the entire thing start for you?
Actually, Deepa, for me, it started in childhood, but I just didn't know how to go about it. It started because uh, the other classmates that I had, they had very clear strengths, like very clear strengths aligned to academics. Whereas for me, I was always curious about the mind, but I didn't know what that space is called because during the phase that I was growing, which was the 80s and 90s, there were two, three very well-defined streams that you could take. And with hard work, I felt that I could get into any of those, but I could see a clear difference that people were passionate about it, whereas I was trying to just sort of see that, okay, because I don't know anything else, let me get there. And so I was very curious. I had this belief that I must be good at something. So what is that, and that sort of led to an journey of always being curious about myself. Um, and that sort of continued without a very clear direction till I chanced upon coaching in my journey. And it began with me applying for an internal job posting to head a team of coaches. And I thought, since I have been leading teams, it'll be like any other team. And then when I realized that I also have to get certified, I was thinking, why do I need to spend so much time? Because there were like various phases of that certification which spanned across 6 months. So I was thinking, is it really something I should put my time into? Do I really need it? Because I'm managing teams, I just need to manage. But the first day of attending that certification training, it became very clear to me that more than anyone else, I need this. This is what I've been looking for. And then, so that was all consumption. Then I think began the journey of creating, where I thought, okay, now I'm on this journey. It's a continuous journey, but how do I share it with others? And writing became my way of putting out there whatever I was experiencing or whatever I thought was worth. And so that's how it sort of evolved. And it's still going on, I would say. I'm still discovering.
Yeah. There's never an end to self-exploration, right? Every time you read something, every time you pick a book, every time you reread your book. And, there's a very beautiful quote that I read somewhere which says that every time we read a book, we read it from where we are. Our understanding is based on where we are and not where or how the book was written. So thank you for sharing your journey. So Shraddha, so here's something that you shared that you loved about your book. So I'm going to read it for our listeners, and I would love for you to expand upon that a little bit more for us. Okay. So Shraddha says in her book that perspectives are like shadows. Shadows depend on intensity of light and our position in the light. And likewise, perspectives depend on our beliefs and experiences. Sometimes we are stuck with our perspectives, assuming that it is the only view available, or rather, the right view available of any incident or situation in life. But like shadows, perspectives can change depending on how open and receptive we are to upgrade our beliefs and relook at our experiences with a different point of view. So tell us more about what is it here.
I would say, so this is one of my favorite things from the book, that para that you read, because it relates so much to my journey. Like, why I would say, I would start with this, that if I would I would write my biography, it will be like why coaching excites me. That's the title of my book already. And why it came, because from the age of 10, I was into sports coaching. And I think from the age of 10 to 41, coaching has been like a part of me, like ingrained in me. Now, having said so, sometimes you forget your own genius zones, right? And when 2012 cancer hit me, I was in that deep space where being a positive person, because sports had already trained me on my mindset, sports also trained me on my physical well-being, right? So when cancer hit me in 2012, I was like, okay, um, if being a positive person and a healthy person, if something like this, I am allowing that in my system, that means there is some leak, there is something which is not okay, and I have to address it. From the time I know myself, I have always enjoyed self-help books, and I could really see the power of gratitude, and all of that had already been there in my life. The spirituality had been already been there, thanks to my parents. Like, if there is anything, we can just go and pray, and you would be able to answer yourself. The answer would come from within. So now, fast forward 11 years, when I look at my cancer, I always bow in gratitude. Thank you for showing up. Because if you would have not showed up, I would have not showed up to the world I am here right now. I would have not been serving my purpose. I would have not been aligned so much today I am in the space of energy and intuitions and the work that I do and the transformation I bring in, whatever, it's all like flowing, free flowing. So that's a shift in perspective, from then and till now. And everything in my life is like full circle. If you ask me, like, if I had to connect something from my childhood to here, why it happened, I know all the answers because I've digged into it that much, shifting my perspectives layer by layer by layer. So, why certain people come into your life, why my parents crossed over at, I won't say young age, but I was like 36, but that way you feel that. So why the grief? Every layer that I went on, peeling off from myself, I know that it's a shift in perspective. And as it is shifting in perspective, everything is coming into life, like my being, my purpose, my alignment, all of it. So that's why I always believe that, if something is shifting, you are shedding a perspective and really getting a new one. You are really moving on to the other side, really seeing the light from the other side.
Yeah, and yeah, thank you for sharing that very intricate part of your life and showing us what it means. So, uh, listeners, change your perspective, change your life. I think that's my takeaway from what Shraddha just shared with all of us. I can go on talking and asking questions and hearing from all of you, because you have such amazing stories and such amazing examples of your transformation and how your book will definitely impact the readers and help them grow, self-explore, self-master, grow and transform. So before we kind of wrap up our conversation for today, I have a few rapid fire questions, the simple questions. We'll keep it very simple, but it will be fun for our listeners to also know a little bit more about who you are and some fun facts about you. If you're okay, Akanksha?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So your favorite book?
Oh, I can't say one. There are far too many. I really
Choose,
can't.
okay, the first book that comes to your mind.
Yeah, I love Deepak Chopra's books. So I would, yeah, I can say you can read Spontaneous Fulfillment of Desire,
Okay.
Meta-Human. So I
So
can't
we'll
choose
take
one.
Deepak Chopra as your favorite author, and I would probably urge our listeners to explore that aspect of of Deepak Chopra's life and books. Okay. One fun fact about you that no one knows.
Probably, yeah, people know me more as a uh, meditation teacher and a well-being coach. I used to be an aerobics instructor, and I could swim 1,000 meters in under 20 minutes. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting, isn't it? So we only know one aspect of Akanksha, but when we throw light on a different aspect, we get a different, version of Akanksha. Fantastic. So coffee or tea with writing, or nothing, or something else?
I love both coffee, tea, green tea. I like everything, but it's not about that because my writing always, and this is something that I would like to share how I got inspired is like my kid. He is the one who inspired me to write this book. So I used to wake up at 4 a.m. and get the downloads, and then I used to expand on those. So the Untold Legend, the book title also is something that he had started writing the book, and he couldn't finish it when he was physically here. So I'm so grateful to be connected with him. So I would say writing is a process where if you connect with your higher self, with your guides, you will get downloads. And when you get the downloads, let it flow through you. And then, so it doesn't matter whether you have coffee, tea, or nothing. Just sit there and write early morning. That I would recommend that.
So alignment is what you're saying is your company when you are writing.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And I think I would like to share with our listeners that Akanksha wrote this book in 30 days straight. So it was written in just 1 month, and so it's definitely a must read for all of us. All right. So fiction or non-fiction, and why?
Non-fiction.
Non-fiction. Okay. Fantastic.
Because I'm on a continuous, I'm a lifelong learner, so I just love reading non-fiction books.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Akanksha. Thank you so much for sharing those aspects of yourself. We know a little bit more now. All right. Coming to Manisha. So, would you want to share with us your favorite book?
Synchrodestiny is a book, and Synchrodestiny is by Deepak Chopra. It's coincidental that Akanksha also shared, but that was a book which shifted so many things for me. It just energized me so much, and I'm getting this calling to read it again now. It's an amazing
Synchrodestiny, is it?
Yeah,
Okay,
you will start, realizing that universe starts creating synchronicities in your life, and people start coming in your life, situations start coming. So spontaneous fulfillment of desire and synchrodestiny, they both are like one after other Deepak wrote. So both are
fantastic.
really good.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we'll get to that. If you could spend a day being someone else, who would that be? And you can choose anybody from past, from present.
That is so amazing. I would like to be Malcolm Gladwell. I don't know how he thinks and comes up with, these things like Blink was so fascinating how he could figure out just seeing, seeing people, how long they would stick together. And yeah, I would love to kind of.
Okay. So Malcolm Gladwell is your person to be. Okay. What's the book that you're reading right now?
I just started Akanksha's book.
So life is a full circle. We come back to where we start. So fantastic. Yeah. Okay. do you have a book that you remember that you wish you had written? Something that you have read, but you always thought, wow, only if I had my name on the cover page of the book.
Alchemist by Paul.
Alchemist. Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you so much. I think we know more about Manisha. And now over to Shraddha. Shraddha, what inspires you the most?
Having those alignment here clearly inspires me the most. And then number two, when I see a shift in others, like it could be with my presence but then in general, like when I meet people and then the next time I have met them, I can clearly see the shift. It inspires me, like, wow.
So if you could have dinner with anyone you want, past, present, who would that be?
Tony Robbins, for sure.
When I was drafting this question, I had him in my mind as well. I just want to be with him and understand. Yeah. Okay. So tell us more about why Tony Robbins.
Yeah. So I actually, feel that, I am Tony Robbins of India.
Wow.
Because if you see, I have attended his UPW virtually, and he just gets people like this, the way I do, like, while he is asking them questions, really, he gets people very fast that way in that moment. And that's how I do as well. I know that I get people very fast, what's happening, their energy, scanning their energies, and really getting into the last bit of what's the root there.
Okay, fantastic. I'm into that. Hope you find time and a place and your one-on-one conversation over dinner with Tony Robbins soon. Yeah, fantastic. So one word to describe you as a writer.
Connection.
Beautiful. Okay. Now this is interesting. So if your book was a song, which one would that be?
I would write that song by myself.
That call for a round of applause for such a beautiful
that
answer.
That song is coming to me right now.
Okay.
I see me, myself, in the bright light, showing different perspectives to the world out there.
All right. So thank you so much, ladies, for being here, for spending your time with us and sharing your perspectives, your stories, your synchronicities, your journey of penning down these three awesome books that we have with us. So my sincere urge to everybody who's listening to this discussion, we can get into much more deeper discussions and learn so much more about them because their life has so many insights for us. I would just love for all of you to explore the three books and share with us in the comments, what do you think, what stood out for you from our conversation, what are you taking away, and we'll definitely get back to you with answers if you have any questions for us. So as we wrap up, just one message that you want to send to the community that's listening to us. Manisha?
I would say, I would urge the listeners to spend some time with themselves every day, just getting curious about themselves. And yeah, please buy my book.
Yes. All right, Akanksha, what's your message to our listeners?
Yeah, I would ask everyone to connect, be in alignment with your higher self, and connect with the divine, the source. Everyone has a designated spirit guide and angel assigned, and very few people know that. We look for everything for outside, for all the answers outside. Rather than that, go within, get the guidance within, connect with your higher self, and expand consciousness. We are here on this journey to expand our consciousness. So,
fantastic. Yeah. Thank you so much, Akanksha.
And read my
what's
book.
Your message?
So I would say have fun, because when you have fun, you are already in energetic alignment. And with alignment, whatever you do, whatever you seek, whatever you would like to achieve, whatever you like to experience, it's all there, set on a platter and given to you. So have fun. Have fun. That's it.
Thank you so much for those messages. I hope that creates interest in our listeners to delve deeper, connect with themselves, be aligned, and then have fun. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here.